The Lunch Bunch Kindie Keeners, Chapter 14, February, Dishy. On Saturday at the library, Frances took the lead and told Mrs. Dewberry that they were looking for something to work on as spy agents. They had found their HQ, and now they needed a case to work on. Mrs. Dewberry had her CCCC notebook and started to thumb through it. Detective Callahan attended the last meeting and was only able to offer information on 2 unsolved crimes. He said there were more, but he didn't have time to get the info ready for the club meeting, she explained. The first case is a series of notes delivered to the police station on the same day every year. They are anonymous notes made completely of cut-out individual letters from magazines. The notes seem to indicate the writer knew of a vandal in town defacing property. That case didn't have the same urgency as the next one. The second case was a 3-year-old jewelry heist. A local family wanted to share their family heirlooms with the town and put them on display at the local museum. The 2 valuable pieces were a star with a precious gem in each of the 5 points and a small gold coffee spoon with a diamond in the handle. The curator said the items came from Germany with family members over 100 years ago. The museum set up as much security as they had with any exhibit. The staff of the museum didn't see anything suspicious and noticed that the pieces were missing when the curator came back from lunch. By the time the local police were involved, roads out of town were closed in and all vehicles checked for the items. I will get more details from Detective Callahan when we see him at the next CCCC meeting. He will know if there are any new updates to the file, reported Mrs. Dewberry. In the meantime, to hone your spy skills, I wrote some more coded notes. Do you want to try cracking them? This is not the same code as the headquarters discovery. Andrew muttered to Matthew, "What does hone mean?" Frances overheard and piped up, "Honestly, boys, hone means to sharpen your skills. Do I have to tell you everything?" Note number 1, the letters are ERUTNEEVDA, DNA, YRETSYM, EKILUOYOD. The second note, number 2, BULCRUONIOJUOYTNODYHW. The third one, TROHSROF, CCCCRO, BLUC, EMIRC, ESAC, I'll repeat that, ESAC, DLOC, EHT, SEV, LESRUO, LLACEW. And the last one is NAHALLAC, EVITCETED, TEEM, OT, TEG, UOY, EPOHI. We will take them and have them solved by our next Sneaky Spy Saturday morning, Brandon said with excitement. During gym class this month, each grade group learned a new dance, and the dance that the Kindies learned and would perform was the bunny hop. They spent the first few minutes of each class learning the steps and practiced joining into long chains of hopping bunnies that moved all around the gym. The children loved their dance, and each day more and more students picked up the footwork. Pretty soon, the bunny hop music was stuck in their heads, and they did the dance down the hall while moving from the classroom to other areas of the school to get a drink of water and to go to the bathroom. We can only bunny hop for so long, Kindies, The other skill we're going to be practicing this month is throwing and catching, instructed Mr. Smith. The Kindies were paired up, and Matthew was partnered with Frances. I want you to stand on the green lines across from each other and practice throwing and catching the ball to each other. At the end of the class, I will bring out a special surprise to play with, explained Mr. Smith. Matthew, tired of practicing throwing and catching very quickly, and started throwing the ball outside of Frances's reach or above her head. "Matthew!" shrieked Frances. "Smarten up! You're doing that on purpose." Matthew's reaction to Frances's whining was to take the ball and drill it hard at her head. "Take that, Frances. Is that close enough?" Matthew started laughing and could barely stand up when he noticed he'd made Frances cry. He went over and asked her, "Are you hurt, Frances?" By this time, Mr. Smith was on the scene. "Matthew, you must be more careful. Are you okay, Frances?" he asked. Big crocodile tears ran down Frances's cheeks. "My feelings are hurt," she wailed. "We need to talk, Matthew." "Why would you throw the ball at her head?" Mr. Smith asked. "She is just so annoying and bossy. I didn't want to hurt her. Just get her to stop bossing me around," Frances explained. Mr. Smith smirked, but said, "You need to make it right and apologize to Frances now." "I'm sorry you're so bossy, Frances," said Matthew, out of earshot of Mr. Smith. "That's okay, Matthew." "Wait, what?" He was already gone. During the last few minutes, Mr. Smith brought out the bin of rubber chickens and invited the Kindies to throw and catch them. The gym was deafening with giggly, shrieking students. Mr. Smith took Matthew as a partner. There is nothing quite as fun as throwing around rubber chickens. Later that day, Ms. McAllister sent a note home for parents regarding the upcoming Valentine's Day party. As soon as the note went home, the buzz began and the excitement level turned up a notch. Parents were hounded to take their children out to the store to buy their valentines. Turns out there was no shortage of valentines, and they came in all different themes. Valentines were an at-home activity. "I want Power Rangers," Andrew told his mom. "Me too," agreed Matthew. Coincidentally, the valentines the children chose closely matched their Halloween costumes. Some of the Kindies took the weekend to start writing out their valentines, while others needed help from parents to rip them apart on the perforated lines and with the printing. Every student could write their own name beside the "from" word on the cards. Children saw that Granny Janny's name was on the list and Miss M sent home, and the littles were thrilled to include her. There was always a special teacher valentine that Miss M was sure to love. The week of Valentine's Day was business as usual in kindergarten. The students worked through the centers and the seat work. On Thursday, February 12th, the Kindies had an art class and made their Valentine mailboxes. Ms. M put the names of the owners in black marking pen on the front of the mailboxes. She then instructed the children to put them on the side counter for the party the next day. Excitement filled the air when the children came to school on Friday morning. Granny Janny always came on special days to celebrate with the Kindies. True enough, she was in the classroom when the opening bell rang. Ms. M was wearing a Valentine dress with hearts on it, and Granny Janny was wearing her red sweater. Everybody was ready to get the day started. The class followed the usual learning schedule before recess. At every opportunity, Frances reminded the others, "You're going to love the Valentine I chose for you. I wrote your name myself without Mummy's help. Ashley, I think Ms. M will like my teacher Valentine the best," she nattered. Just before snack, Ms. M announced, "If anybody forgot their Valentines at home, I have extras at school. Please let me know. Before you go out for recess, put your Valentines and your mailbox at your table spot. Treats for the party go on the side table before recess. Have fun outside, kids." Once inside from recess, the classroom had been transformed into a party palace. The treats were set on a table, and everything looked organized for handing out Valentines. Outdoor gear was hung up quickly, and then the fun started. Chaos developed as each Kindie tried to match the name on their Valentines with the name on their Valentine mailbox. Granny told the children to keep their places organized and double-check that they only had the valentines with their names on them. Sometimes the handing out part was tricky and the cards were put in the wrong mailboxes. Frances was looking at her valentines when she noticed a big pink heart that said, "Hello, love. You are Dishy, from your secret admirer." She proceeded to take it around to every boy in the class and ask if they gave it to her. "Brandon, did you give this to me?" He took a quick look and replied, "Not me, Frances." "Thank you for calling me Dishy, Andrew," she smiled. "What does Dishy mean, Frances?" I didn't call you Dishy," Andrew replied. "Is this from you, Matthew?" she wondered. "Is this your way of feeling bad about giving me a concussion in the gym?" "I am a Power Ranger guy, not a Dishy guy, Frances. And by the way, you can't get a concussion from a soft rubber ball." Nobody owned up to sending Frances the valentine. She then showed it to all the girls and asked them if they got one like it. Pooja said, "I don't know what Dishy means." "Do you know what Dishy means, Ashley?" Ashley said she had no clue, but this would be a good challenge for the secret spy agents. Frances wholeheartedly agreed she would find her secret admirer. Frances said, "I just want to confirm that not one other person in the whole class got a lovely note like this." A few girls surrounding Frances said they did not. Ashley had a plan. She held up the paper and noticed it was the same as the ones they glued onto their Valentine's boxes. "Pooja," Ashley said, "do you think this is the same paper that we made our decorations from for our Valentine's boxes?" Pooja agreed. It was the same, meaning the Valentine was made in the classroom. It was too late for Ashley and Pooja to let it go. They were curious and very interested in solving the mystery of the secret admirer. "Never mind, it isn't important," said Frances. Pooja said, "Of course it's important. Don't you want to find out who your secret admirer is?" The rest of the morning flew by and it was time to get ready for lunch. Ashley asked Frances, "Have you figured out who your secret admirer is?" "Not yet," Frances replied. "Can I have another look at it, Frances?" asked Ashley. Frances confidently replied, "Unfortunately, Ashley, I lost it." Pooja went through Frances's table and found the crumpled valentine. "It isn't lost. Here it is," said Pooja. "How lucky for me that you found it, Pooja," muttered Frances under her breath. Ashley quickly grabbed the valentine and took it over to Ms. McAllister to ask her about it. "Ms. McAllister, what does Dishy mean?" Ms. M said, "I have no idea, but ask Granny Janny. She knows everything." Ashley and Pooja raced over to where Granny was working and asked, "Do you know anything about this, Granny?" Granny said, "Dishy is a British term for a very attractive, pretty, or beautiful. Wow, the secret admirer knew British slang. Granny Janny asked to have a closer look at it. "All the words are spelled correctly, and I've seen the printing before, gals. I think I know who wrote the valentine." Granny, Ashley, and Pooja found Frances and told her their idea. "The words are spelled correctly, the word Dishy is British slang, and the printing looks just like yours, Frances," said Ashley. Frances was a bit red-faced and embarrassed, but she quickly found her words. "Well done, agents. This was a test, and you are correct. I wrote it," Frances said. Ashley and Pooja believed Frances, but Granny Janny knew they had caught Frances in a little white lie. There was too much going on in the classroom to get hung up on the secret admirer incident, so it was soon forgotten. The evening of the family dance, a few minutes before 6 o'clock, the school was alive with families and strollers and excited children. The Kindie seemed to forget the no running in school rule, and every move they made was at high speed. Once the coats were hung up, the crowd congregated in the gym. It was a packed house. The tables were full. Children were 2 or 3 deep around the outside of the dance floor, but they all fit in the gym. Mr. Smith and Mrs. O'Neill were on the stage, taking turns on the microphone. "Welcome, Mountain Creek families. We are thrilled that you could join us tonight for our annual family dance. Our students have been practicing their dances and can't wait to perform them for you. Let's get this show started. The first group is anxiously awaiting to dance for you. Can the Kindies please line up to perform the bunny hop? Mr. Smith joined them in the middle of the gym floor and did a quick attendance in his head, got them lined up for their number. Bossy Bunny Francis was overseeing the setup and shouting orders to the friends who seemed to be a bit dazed and lost. Finally, after much ado, the children were ready. The music started and the magic happened. Just like they had practiced, the kids knew exactly what to do. They did some fancy dance maneuvers and had long lines of bunny hoppers. It was well done, and some of the audience were taking pictures and videotaping the dance. The children were smiling ear to ear, as was the audience. When the dance was finished, the applause was thunderous. Francis gave the crowd a deep curtsy, and the Kindies cleared off the dance floor to allow the next number to proceed. The children watched from the sidelines as the rest of the school presented their dances. They watched and recognized some of the older students. "Hi, Leroy! Look, here's our library friend, Leroy. Good luck and break a leg," announced Francis. Leroy was not happy with the attention, but gave a quick wave to the Kindies. Each grade was spectacular, and the families were thrilled with the show. Pooja watched intently and told Ashley, "I bet I can do all of these dances." "I know you can do them all, Pooja," confirmed Ashley. The disc jockey had set up his equipment on the stage, so the transition from the performance to the family dance was quick. Mrs. O'Neill introduced the disc jockey and repeated a few rules. The music started, and right away the dance floor filled up with parents and grandparents dancing with children. Teachers danced with students, and students danced with students. The front and back gym doors had to be opened to let the cool winter air in, as it was a sauna in the gym with all the dancing. Brandon was tired of dancing, and he and Andrew were standing in the open doorway. "Andrew, I have an idea. Let's call at an LB6 meeting out here in 10 minutes, he said. Andrew and Brandon were good at running and gathering up the other agents. Andrew found Matthew at the table drinking pop and eating chips. Pooja, Ashley, and Francis begrudgingly followed them from the dance floor to the door. "What, Brandon? Hurry and tell us. We want to get back to the dance floor," said Francis. "Why don't we stay behind and put chairs and tables away and clean up garbage after the family dance?" he asked. "That would be a kind thing to do, and I bet they could use our help." "Not a meeting item, mister," scolded Francis. "You could have just told us instead of interrupting our dancing. Brandon, let's go back, girls." "See you at the end of the family dance," Ashley shouted back over her shoulder as she raced back to dance. Pooja knew every word of every song and sang her heart out. Pooja was watching the dancers when she noticed Ms. M dancing with a man. They were both googly-eyed and smiling at each other. Is that her fiancé? Pooja would get to the bottom of that tomorrow. The crowd dispersed slowly as reluctant children and their siblings were being encouraged to get their coats and head home to bed. The lunch bunch were wound up and started hauling one chair at a time to stack and put away with the adults. They picked up pop cans and put them in the recycling bins and threw out chip bags that were left on the tables. By the time the gym was cleared, it was time to call it a night. In the classroom, Ms. M, Granny Janny, and the dancing man were helping children get their coats on and find their boots. When Pooja went to get her coat, Ms. M said, "Pooja, I would like you to meet my fiancé, Mr. Richardson." They were holding hands. "Hi," Pooja shyly answered. "Oh boy, so much to talk about tomorrow," she thought to herself. The next day was a bit foggy for the children, as they were very tired from last night and the excitement of the family dance. One detail that did not escape Pooja was to call a lunch bunch meeting for the first outdoor recess. They met at the usual playground spot, and Pooja announced, I have a secret to tell you. While getting my coat from the classroom last night, Ms. M was visiting with her boyfriend in the classroom. She told me she would like to introduce her fiancé, Mr. Richardson. Frances interrupted. I was sure the same man she was dancing with was the one I saw Miss M with at the mall around Christmas time. Such important news for the group, Frances excitedly announced. Let's play bride and groom by holding each other's hands. 3 Mr. Richardsons and 3 Ms. M's is perfect. Nobody but you wants to play this stupid game, Frances, said Matthew. Come on, Brandon. We have running to do, urged Andrew. Pooja said, no thanks, Frances. I'm working on some solo dance moves. Hey, Ashley, I will show you how to climb to the top of the playground equipment, suggested Matthew. I'm right behind you, Matthew. LB6, except for Frances, scattered quickly. By the end of the month, the random acts of kindness notes and all 49 treats were safely delivered to various unsuspecting adults in the school. During the sharing circle, the students described how they helped out their mums and dads at home with chores and played with younger siblings. Meanwhile, inside HQ, 3 precious jewels lay hidden until LB6 figured out what they were doing there and what they should do with them.